on the Lilach Bullock Show, we have the one and only Evan Carmichael. Woo, woo, woo.
I love the energy. Thank you for having me. This is great.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so thrilled that you're here today. I really, really am. Now, I would be shocked if anybody didn't know your background, but I'm going to read out your bio, and it is very, very impressive. So today, Evan Carmichael believes in entrepreneurs. Gary Vaynerchuck called him the DJ who inspires people, and Ed Mylett called him the modern day Napoleon Hill. At 19, he built and then sold a biotech software company. At 22, he was a venture capitalist, raising 500,000 to 15 million. He now runs a YouTube channel for entrepreneurs with over 3.5 million subscribers and 300 million views. Wow. He's written 4 books, speaks globally, and he wants to solve the world's biggest problem. People don't believe in themselves enough. Forbes named him one of the world's top 40 social media marketing talents, and Inc. named him one of the 100 great leadership speakers and 25 social media keynote speakers you need to know. He has set 2 world records, uses a trampoline and stand-up desk, owns Canada's largest salsa dance studio where he met his wife, and has a giant Doritos bag in front of him all day long to remind him that he's stronger than the Doritos. Toronto is his home. He's a husband, father, TSM fan, and Timo Main. Woo! Amazing. That is very, very impressive. Now,
there's some stuff in there.
Some really good stuff. Incredible bio. Now, where did it all begin? How did you fall into the entrepreneurship world?
So I never thought I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know what it even meant. I'm 42 this year, so going way back, entrepreneurship wasn't a thing. You know, my parents were entrepreneurs. I didn't know anybody who was an entrepreneur. You kind of had to be crazy to be an entrepreneur. Basically meant you couldn't get a job, so you started your own business, right? That was, at least when I was growing up, what it was. I had a lot of entrepreneurial tendencies though. So I loved baseball cards and trading and garage sailing and all that kind of stuff. But in my high school yearbook, where it asked you where you're going to be in 10 years or whatever, I said VP at a bank. So I thought I liked money. I liked making money, but I didn't ever consider it as a opportunity to do my own thing. And then I got to university and I connected with 2 people who had started their own business, and they asked me to join as an equity partner. So like, you'll get 30% of this business and $300 a month to get started. So, not a lot of money, but something, I guess. And the hardest decision of my life was trying to decide 30% equity and hopefully turn it into something. And all my friends are going for the big jobs. I struggled, and then the clarity moment came after seeing a quote by Jeff Bezos talk about regret. And he has a regret minimization framework where he left his big job. He was I think he was an investment banker too. And he left it to go start Amazon. And even if it didn't work out, he just needed to know that he would try it because he didn't want to regret it later on. And so I told myself, you know what, I'd rather fail and know than not know. And so I'm going to go do this thing. And luckily it worked out. It wasn't easy, and we can dive into that story if you want. But I liked entrepreneurship. I didn't know what the word was. And luckily I found an opportunity to go for it earlier on so that I didn't end up being here hating my life. I told myself, so I'm 19, and I told myself when I'm an old man at 40, I'm 42 now, right? When I'm finished, when I'm falling apart, it's all over. When you're 19, a 40-year-old feels like, you're anyway. So I told myself when I'm an old man at 40 and I look back on my life, I will regret not having tried. And so, 42-year-old Evan can go back and say, good job, 19-year-old Evan. We made it happen.
You did. And what a journey. I mean, fast forward to today. I can remember years ago, because I've been in the online world for nearly 18 years. And I can remember years ago, you had these websites and you listed things. You did that, didn't you?
Yeah. Before I had my website, before YouTube, I had so the journey was, had my business, built it, sold it. So 19 started it, struggled, sucked, quit on my partner, came back the next day, and then sold it. I built it up, sold it. and I mean, I'm going through kind of quickly, but after we sold it, I was 22, didn't know what I wanted to do next. So I joined a VC firm where I was helping raise capital for entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Really just I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I never had to raise money. So I was curious about it. And in that process, I started getting asked to speak at different events, and I started my website, which was sharing content to help entrepreneurs. What I discovered was your purpose, I think, ultimately comes from your pain. That whatever you were struggling with the most as a human is what you want to help other people through. And I can see that clearly looking back. I didn't know what to call that, at the moment, but I made a website showcasing entrepreneur stories and doing lists and things because I
Yeah.
wish I had that when I started my company at 19, those kinds of resources to help me. And that evolved into a YouTube channel because I'm a visual learner, so I'd rather see it.
Uh-huh.
So it transitioned from being I had over 100,000 pages of content on the website that
Wow.
we transitioned to then become YouTube videos because I just want to be able to help and serve all the entrepreneurs like 19-year-old Evan who are struggling to get started.
I love your message, and I have to personally thank you as well, because back then when you had your website, you listed me, and it massively helped my business. I can't tell you. So I'm so indebted. So thank you so much. Now, you are literally the king of YouTube. You've got like over 3.5 million subscribers, and I'm sure everyone watching or listening to this would love to know, how do you get to that level? Because there's so much noise, isn't there? There's so many people competing, and people get, this is a bit of a long-winded question, but people get very disheartened because they don't get immediate results. So they say, oh, it doesn't work. So what would you say to those people?
Well, I don't know if you've seen my journey. I post it on my website. So if anybody wants to see how slowly I took at the beginning to get going, people use it as inspiration. Um, I post every year. So I started in 2009, and every May I post where I'm at in terms of my subscriber growth. And in the first year was 25 subscribers, and the second year is like 100 subscribers, something. In my 5th year, I still had 700 subscribers or something like that. And that's like, people will say, how did you not quit? Like, how do you keep going? You're in year 5 and you only have 700 something subscribers. Like, you might want to go find something else. It's like, it's not working. Go do something else. So I mean, I love doing it. And I
Mm,
think that's why you have to love the process of the thing that you're doing. And
yeah,
if people, I challenge people to do this because it's a fun thing, but a lot of times people will take that graphic of how I'm doing year by year, and then they put it into an Instagram post or video or tweet or something to say that they're beating Evan Carmichael, because most people are beating me. Most people by year 5, already have more than 700 something subscribers, so you can say that you're ahead of me.
yeah.
The only difference is I kept going. I
Okay.
just kept going. I kept making it. I kept creating content. I kept sharing. And when people ask, well, how did you keep going? Like, how did you not quit? What gave you the inspiration and reason to keep going? I always focused on who I was serving instead of who I wasn't. And that
Okay.
made a huge shift for me, because most of us are in the who I'm not serving game, right? Even now, I've got 3 whatever million subscribers. Why is it not 4? Why is it not 5? Why is it not 10? What the who I'm not game is never ending. But
Yeah.
who you are serving right now can make all the difference in the world. So that those 25 people in my first year, it's like, those are 25 people who subscribe to my channel. Like, that's pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool. If you go and you speak at a library or a YMCA, or my first speaking gig was at a YMCA, and 25 people show up, that's pretty cool. Now, I would think that's pretty cool. My first speaking, I had 3 people show up. So if 25 people showed up, that'd be pretty cool. And so if you can re-engineer your mind to think about that, hey, if I have 25 people or 100 people or 1,000 people or however big your audience is, it doesn't mean that you stop growing and you get complacent and you just only live in gratitude for what you've got. But if you focus on serving them instead of who you're not serving, it does a couple things. One, it's a lot more fun, to
Yeah.
feel like you matter and that the work you're doing is having an impact on people. And that fun, we all want to feel like we're doing something that matters. And so if you can actually connect to the thing that you're doing actually matters to somebody, maybe not the world. You and I want to serve the world. Cool. And if you knew that you did something today that helped at least one person, it's easy to have the motivation to keep going it and doing it again the next day, the next day, the next day. And two, the people who you are serving will take you to the people who you're not serving. You know, like if you keep serving your people well, they'll tell their friends about you. Say, hey, go watch this person's video. And you never know the impact that you're having on people. Even, I mean, you said some very kind words earlier today that I listed you on my website and it made a huge difference in your business, right? That kind of stuff happens all the time. It's like somebody tells you some story from 5 years ago that maybe they watched your video, and that video doesn't have to have 1 million views on it, but they watched your video, and that video had was a spark. You had the life-changing moment for them. We've all had those videos that we have watched. I've watched them. You've watched them. There's been a video that we've watched that made a shift for us. And so you could be making that shift for somebody else. But we default to assuming that our videos suck because only 100 people saw them and we're not having the growth that we want to have. And therefore we suck as humans. And so we're going to stop doing it. Right. Or if you can focus on who you are serving, and if 100 people see your video, just tell yourself that for one person out of those 100, it's a life-changing video. Not everybody, not all 100. Okay, you're not going to believe that. But like for one person out of 100 who watch it, you said the right thing at the right time in the right way, and it's a life-changing video for them. And if you can actually believe that, then it shifts everything. And so that's what's really helped me.
That's incredible. And it leads me on very nicely to your amazing book, which I have a copy here. And if I could take it through, I would say, oh, can you sign it? But there we go. Being fan Dory. Now, I have to say, I adore your book. And I'm obsessed with reading. I read a lot of books, and I have literally everyone's books. But yours really stood out. And can everyone see this? I'm putting this here. I've got the thing there. But Built to Serve. I mean, do you want to share a little bit about that? Because I have to say, guys, you know, if you're watching this, I highly, highly recommend it. And, you know, you spoke a minute ago about it could change someone's life. And this did, you know, it really, really helped me dig deep into my why. And I think our why, like entrepreneurship, the journey is so hard, isn't it? It's like a roller coaster. And I think when we really know our why, it helps us push through the obstacles which we inevitably enter. So do you want to share a little bit about this amazing book of yours?
Sure. And again, thank you for, all the kind words. I'm glad it's had an impact. Humans are built to serve. So the book is called Built to Serve because humans are built to serve. If you're not happy, it's because you're not serving. We all, like I said before, want to wake up and feel like today is going to matter, that we're going to make something that will serve somebody that matters. Some of us want to serve the world, and some of us want to serve just the closest people to us. But if you're not happy right now, it's because you feel like you don't matter to somebody else. It feels like you're going to, if you wake up and drive to the job that you hate every day, and you feel like it doesn't matter if you show up or not, like your boss would get upset, but the work you're doing doesn't really matter. If that's your day-to-day existence, that's the path to anxiety and stress and overwhelm and depression and suicide, because you feel like your life doesn't matter. But if you woke up every day and felt like you matter, the work you're going to do today will matter. It changes everything. It's the path to purpose and happiness and fulfillment, all of it. And everybody, all humans are built to serve. Then it's a matter of finding out, well, how do we serve and whom do we serve and what's the best path? And so that's the reason for writing the book. And we go through a framework of who, I, how to help you figure that out. And then also for the entrepreneurs out there who want to turn it into a business, how can you actually monetize it so that you're not just living your purpose on the evenings and weekends, but you can turn it into something that can make you money, and also have a team and expand and grow so your purpose can reach a lot more people too.
Amazing. I genuinely loved it. I'm not just saying that. I wouldn't. So thank you. No, that's great. Now, I want to backtrack a little bit, because you said that the first 5 years you got to 500 subscribers. What turned for you? Because I mean, your journey is incredible. Your stats, your numbers, I think you've got like over 300 million views. I mean, these are just exceptional, aren't they? So how did you, because we all know that once you get to a certain amount, it starts to create it organically.
I think I think most people can get there a lot faster. I don't think it's really a function of once you get to a certain amount, it starts to blow up. I think it was much more me getting better and deciding to invest in myself. Right. So
Okay. What does that look like? In what way did you get better, and what did you invest in that did
So
it?
it was mindset and skill set. So in the mindset, I'm introverted, I'm shy. That doesn't come across on like interviews like this, but I don't like the spotlight. I don't like being I don't like being on stage. It makes me nervous. It's not enjoyable. I just came back from a 3-day event in Vegas where I was speaking with Gary Vee and Patrick Bet-David and other great speakers on stage, and I don't like being on stage. I like the effect it creates in the hallway afterwards to go help people. So I'm the
Sure.
only speaker who sticks around, and then I stay for hours in the hallway talking to people because they'll come up to me and ask me questions based off of my talk. Where normally I wouldn't go up to anybody and talk to them, not because I'm too good for them, but because I'm afraid. You know, I'm introverted and shy. But we still want to serve, and so that was a huge breakthrough for me when I realized even though I'm introverted and shy, I still want to serve. I still want to
Yeah.
help. And all my models at the time, if you look at who's on TV, you just see the people who are big mouth and extroverted and the life of the party. And like that wasn't me. So I thought,
Yeah.
oh, like to do that, you know, I'm at the same agency as Mel Robbins and Grant Cardone, and both of them are very outwards focused and like the life of the party and extrovert and love talking to people. Um, and just that wasn't me. So I it took a while for me. Once I tied it to service, then it was an unlock. It's like, this is not about me. It's about the people you can help.
Mm.
And then that became like, oh, okay. But how does an introvert make a lot of YouTube videos and win? I don't know, but let's figure it out. You know, like let's try. Let's see what happens. And then the second part of that was getting help in communication and getting. Once I decided to take it more seriously, that I
Mhm.
realized, oh, I should be doing more than yeah, just getting coaching, getting help, and watch my videos back, and becoming a better speaker. So people can get there a lot faster. It's not like, oh, once you have 1,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers or a million subscribers or whatever it is, then instantly everything gets better. It's much
Mhm.
more about are you good enough? Or do you have the skill set and the talent and the mindset to actually make great content? And
Mhm.
obviously the more repetition you put in, the better, but
Yeah.
getting coaching and getting help and getting people to give you guidance um, really helped me too. I just took too long, you know, it was like 5 years before I 6 years. I don't know. You could look at the graph and you can start to see where it starts to take off. It definitely took a while
Yeah.
to actually gain the skills. Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. And what video marketing or YouTube tips can you share so that we can get, as best results as we possibly can?
So honestly, I start with, what are you trying to sell? You know, like at the end of the day, what is your business all about? For a lot of
Mhm.
people, the goal doesn't need to be 1 million subscribers. For a lot of people, it's just you already have a business and you want to use YouTube to help you get more from that business. You know, we've helped people. There's one guy who emailed in last week who's now getting 6-figure deals almost every week from his YouTube channel, and he's got 300 subscribers.
Wow, that's incredible.
So he's got a business, and his goal is never to, he doesn't need 1 million subscribers on his channel. He's in a hyper focused niche, and he wants to gain more clients for his niche, and he's good. So what are you trying to sell? What are you trying to create, and making sure you have a business path towards it? Next, make sure you actually enjoy the content that you're making. And we see other people doing things, and we feel like we have to do that too. And it's worth trying, but you may not like it, right? Like
Mm.
you're doing this show here with an interview. If somebody wants to create an interview podcast show style like this, you better like talking to people and interviewing them,
Yes.
right? Like if you don't like asking questions and interviewing people, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
you just
totally.
you'll quit. You know, it'll just get too hard at some point, and because the work itself doesn't fuel you, you might like the result of getting subscribers or whatever, but the work itself doesn't fuel
Mm.
you, then you'll quit. And so it's fine. You can again try on all these different hats. I equate it to trying different food. Like, how do you know if you like sushi until you try it, right? Sushi sounds gross. It's going to be raw fish with fish eggs, with hot mustard and seaweed and rice, right? Like, it just doesn't sound very appetizing, but you don't know until you try it. So take a bite and see. So if you're trying to get your journey going on YouTube, cool, take a bite and see. Try making videos, try doing vlogs, try doing interviews, try doing direct to camera, try doing speeches, try the things that you see, and expect to suck at all of them at the beginning. You're not going to be good because you don't have the skill set yet. Doesn't mean you suck as a human. You don't have the skill set yet. But the thing to pay attention to is, did you enjoy it? How did you feel after doing it? You had that interview, and it's easy to go back. If you go back and watch your first interview, it's a train wreck. I mean, you're awkward and nervous and ask the wrong questions, and you can look back on it and say, oh my gosh, I should have done that. And you can go over it in your head a million times, but did you like it? Like, was it fun to do? Do you want to go back and do it again? Did it give you more energy than it took? And if it's a yes, then that's a great sign to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people stop on YouTube because they don't get immediate results, because they're not doing something that they feel is authentic to them. And they're focused on who they're not serving instead of who they are serving. And they just judge themselves too harshly for not having a skill set yet. Like, you don't just get on a snowboard and go down the hill. You fall 80 times on your first run, and then you fall 50 times on your second run, right? And you get better as you go.
Yeah. And in terms of like optimal length, because you've got a real variety of videos, you've even got your focus music, which I love as well. It's brilliant. I love your music. And you've got so many different types, you've got different channels. What performs the best? I'd love to know.
Sure. And so the caveat for this is, I only know education, thought leadership. So
Okay.
I'm not the guy to go to for like, how do I blow up my slime channel, or how many Doritos can I eat in 24 hours, or like those kinds of things. I'm not. It's education, thought leadership is where
Yeah.
that's where I excel. Inside that category, longer is the guidance. So minimum 10 minutes, but the biggest growth that we're seeing is in the 1 to 3 hour category.
Interesting. Okay. So
So
it's
if
like
you've got
content as well, isn't it? Like blog, long form content.
long form content, yeah. Like, if this is how Joe Rogan blew up on his podcast, but it's how a lot of people are really blowing up. If you're an expert, if you're an expert at something and you can teach. I had a guy that I met at the conference yesterday who was a neurologist, like brain doctor, and
Sure.
so I asked him, well, what's your best video on your channel? Well, I focus on epilepsy and helping people get educated on epilepsy. And my number one video is about this potential drug for epilepsy, pros and cons. Cool. How long is the video? 4 minutes long. Cool. So if somebody came into your office and was asking you about this drug, like, if I'm going to come to your office because my wife has epilepsy and I'm going to ask about this drug, are you only going to talk to me for 4 minutes on it? Like, no, I mean, I'm gonna help you through it. You're gonna ask follow-up questions, and that may be a 40-minute discussion around the drug, because that's pretty serious if you're gonna take a drug for epilepsy, right? It's like, so awesome. So do that in your video.
Yeah, makes total sense.
Like, where are people going to learn this stuff? If my wife has epilepsy and am I gonna go talk to my mom about it? Am I gonna go to the library? Like, where am I gonna get this information on this drug? I'm going to go to YouTube, and then there's this video, and you're actually cheating me of the opportunity to learn if you're only giving me 4 minutes. So if you're an expert and you can go long, I'd encourage you to go longer. 10-minute minimum, but 1 to 3 hour is the place where we're seeing the biggest growth. If you're actually good at what you're doing, it doesn't mean go extend the video to 2 hours because I said so, and now you're repeating yourself a million times, right? Like, if you're good and you're actually teaching, you're not repeating yourself, and you're an expert at what you're doing. This is the difference between like Instagram and YouTube. Is Instagram is short and punchy and inspirational. YouTube is educational and deep. So if you're an expert, you can win really hard at YouTube, even if you're not the most entertaining person, because you're helping me think the way that I want to think.
Sure. Amazing. Evan, you have been an absolute superstar. Where can everyone connect with you? And is there anything else you wanted to share?
I'm Evan Carmichael on most platforms, but what for this show, where is the most important place for you? YouTube? Where is this living?
So this is going to live in lots of places. I love repurposing content. So I'm going to be converting a blog post into this. It's going to be on my podcast, which is on all the different podcast shows. I'll post
what's the single most important channel you're paying attention to right now?
Oh my goodness. Right now is probably my blog, but I do want to be focusing more on YouTube, which is why I'm starting to do more videos as well.
Okay. So then my ask would be, go to this YouTube channel and drop a comment and give a like and subscribe. There's a lot of work putting together these kind of shows, and it helps. Every little comment really helps. You'd be shocked at how a few words can make the difference for somebody. So if you like this show, or you want to give her props for all the work that she's done, then go leave a comment on this video and tell her how much it means to you.
Well, thank you so much, Evan. I really, really appreciate your time and all your huge value. Guys, please do check out Evan's shows and all his websites, links, YouTube, books. I'll be putting all the links below so everyone can easily find you as well. Thanks again, Evan.
Thank you for the love.